Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and I hope you are all doing well. Today I'm going to have an endless conversation with you guys. You may have the interest to study abroad, but sometimes you are not sure of which country you want to embark on this journey. You are wondering, is it good, is it better for me to go to the US or to the UK or to Canada? You are uncertain about which country will be suitable for you, right? In this video, I'm going to tell you that if you're considering studying abroad, then the best country you can go to is Canada. Yes. I'm currently in Canada. I can tell you that Canada is so far the best place that you can opt to come and study. This is based on experiences, what I've heard people say, and the reasons that informed my decision to come to Canada. So I'm going to share some of these reasons why you should come to Canada for your studies, whether it's undergraduate or your graduate studies. Canada is the best place for you to be. Now, the first reason is that comparatively, Canada offers the best cheap tuitions for graduate studies. Okay, if you want to embark on graduate studies, Canada is the place you can find with the best and the cheapest tuitions ever. Let's say if you're in Ghana and then you want to convert a certain amount of money. For instance, if your fees is about, let's say, 5,000 Canadian dollars, and then you are converting it to Ghana cedis, you realize that if you compare the rate, it is relatively cheaper for you to pay 5,000 Canadian dollars than to pay 5,000 pounds or 5,000 US dollars. So Canada offers you the best cheap tuition that you can find if you are considering studying abroad. Again, when you come to Canada, you realize that most of the schools have waived the IELTS English proficiency test as a requirement for your admission. That means that once you come from an English-speaking country, such as Ghana, if you are in Ghana, most of the schools have waived the IELTS exams as a prerequisite for your admission. So you don't need to worry yourself about writing the exams, paying, and then worrying about whether you are going to pass to get the required band or not. Once you have a degree from Ghana, which is a country where teaching and learning is done in English, you are free from fulfilling that requirement of writing the English test. So you don't need to write the IELTS exams to gain admission to study in Canada. Apart from that, in Canada, if you are coming as a student, you are allowed to come to Canada with your whole family. Yes, your immediate, let me qualify it, your immediate family. So you're allowed to come with your husband or your wife and then your children. It doesn't matter the number of children you have. You can bring all of them here. You can decide to come with them at once. That is if you have the financial resources to cater for them immediately you arrive, or you can arrive and then your family can join you later. But the most important thing is that in Canada, students are allowed to move with their entire family, their entire immediate family, right? Now, the child that you give birth to in Canada is automatically a Canadian citizen. You don't need to wait for about 5 years, or you don't need a child to grow up to 18 years before the child can qualify for the Canadian citizenship. Once the child will be born in Canada, the child is an automatic Canadian citizen. It doesn't matter. You may be an international student, but once you have a child in Canada, your child is automatically a Canadian citizen. Okay, even if you decide to go back to your country after school, it doesn't take away the child's right to his or her citizenship. Unlike other countries where you go for school and then when you have a child, you have to wait for the child to be 18 years, matured enough to be an adult before the child can apply for citizenship or qualify for citizenship. Canada is a different whole ball game. Another reason why you should come to Canada is that when you are in Canada, your spouse is allowed to work full-time. So in Canada, when you apply for your study permit, that is your visa as a student to come to Canada to study, your husband or your wife is entitled to apply for a type of visa that is known as open work permit visa. So the open work spousal permit visa allows spouses of international students to work full-time without any restrictions. In some countries, if you're an international student, your spouse can only come with you on visit. Your spouse is not allowed to work to support your studies, okay? So when they are with you, they either have to work illegally or they just stay at home and are not able to support you financially. And even you as the student, you're only limited to 20 hours. But when you come to Canada, your spouse is allowed to work. In fact, your spouse comes into the country with a work permit. Okay, so you, the student, can just concentrate on your studies whilst your spouse works to provide you with the needed money you need to support your education. And it is even better now that students are allowed to work unlimitedly. Again, the next benefit for studying in Canada. When you come to Canada to study, especially for graduate studies, and you complete your studies, you are allowed to apply for what is called postgraduate work permit. This is not available in all countries. And this is one of the amazing things that you can find about studying in Canada. So postgraduate work permit is a permit that allows international students who have completed their studies to stay and live in Canada and work as well for 3 years. So when you are a student in Canada and your period of study is about to end or you're about to graduate, you don't worry about your next step. You know that there is a clear pathway for you to stay and to even progress to become a permanent resident. Unlike other countries where when your time is about to end, you begin to wonder, am I going back home? What else can I do? In some countries, people have embarked on about 2 or 3 degrees. When they finish their first master's degree, they don't have, there's no pathway for them to stay in the country, but they wish to stay. So the only way they can is to apply for another degree. So they apply for a second master's or they apply for a PhD and continue to pay fees just so they can stay in that country. But when you come to Canada, once you finish your school, you apply for postgraduate work permit. You are given a work permit to stay for 3 years. Within these 3 years, you will qualify to apply for your permanent resident. I think after 1 year of work, if you stay and work for 1 year, you qualify to apply for your permanent residence. And apart from this, when you come with your spouse and your spouse also works for 1 year, your spouse also qualifies, according to the Canadian immigration law, to apply for permanent residence. Now, the good aspect of this is that it is even possible that by the time you complete your 2 years degree, your spouse would have qualified for permanent residence, applied for it, and even gain his or her permanent residence even before you complete school. And once your spouse secures his or her permanent residence, it automatically covers you and your children. So you don't also need to go through the process of applying for your own permanent residence after your postgraduate work permit has expired. So you see, these are some of the benefits of studying in Canada. These benefits you don't get in most countries. You don't get these benefits in the UK. You don't get it in the USA. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to the channel. Come and join the family.